Hey YouTube, what's up? This is M10 from Team Umbra, and we're here with September 2011 Lightsworn build, which I call Lightsworn from the Underworld. It's mainly a Twilight build, but it's very unconventional. As you guys know, this ban list, we got back an extra Necro Guard now, we got a third JD, we got Blackluster Soldier, we got back a Tragoedia, and with Heavy Storm back and a third MST, I think deck has tons of potential. You guys are going to notice that there's some really important omissions here. Today I'll go through my main deck, side deck, and extra deck, and eventually down the line I think I'll also post a strategy video explaining some of the choices, why I went for certain choices, and if I have a bit of time in this video I'll probably go through a bit of that as well, very likely. Well, let's get to the point. We got triple Judgment Dragon, Blackluster Soldier, Beckoning Light, and Honest. Beckoning Light with getting three Judgment Dragons, or Beckoning Light getting Blackluster Soldier and Honest, is a 1-card OTK. So just that Beckoning Light, and you need obviously the right amount of cards in hand. I'm running double Celestia. She's really what keeps the deck. I really like Celestia at 2 now, and I'm also running double Ryko and triple Threatening Roar, and I'll get into that later. To Wulf, to Lyla, double Ryko, Lumina, Garoth. Now notice I'm only running 6 different Lightsworn names for a grand total of 10 in total. Very low Lightsworn count, but this deck focuses on much more than just Lightsworn. It has a secondary engine. Got double Tragoedia, and we got triple Tour Guide. Even though the XYZ ruling has changed, I don't think there's any card in the game, at least not to my knowledge, that gets you an instant 25 beater, and or could just tutor Sangan and then you get a search off it, depending on what you need. If you need a big beater to get over something, or if you need a Sangan search, well, this guy tutors. I got 1 Plaguespreader, and that's it for the monster lineup. Now notice no Necrogardenas, no Card Troopers, no Glow Bulb, no Jane, no Aaron, no Arcus, none of that, just because I find a lot of these cards are just dead weight and they just kind of dilute the whole strategy of Lightsworn. And as much as I want Glow Bulb in here, I really want to focus on only light and dark. Just at the end of the day, I just wanted to make this as consistent as possible. Necrocarnas I found were dead draws, and you end up drawing them more than you mill them. At least Threatening, or when you have those in hand, are far more useful. I mean, when they're engraved, whatever, but not the end of the world. I'd rather mill, let's say, a Threatening more than charge or whatever, So charge, triple recharge, even though the low Lightsworn count. Pot of Duality, along with Tour Guide. I think this is what makes this deck absolutely broken. As a matter of fact, as of right now, I'm 18-2 with this deck, and a lot of wins go to key Pot of Duality searches or important Tour Guide plays. Triple MST. I've tried with only 1 MST or 2 MST, but I keep thinking I really like triple MST, and it's won me games. Dark Hole, Reborn, double Beckoning Light, and here, this is probably the biggest point of discussion in my deck. A lot of people say, why are you running triple Threatening Roar? Here's why. Because when you go Threatening Roar, when you set Ryko and set Threatening Roar with a Celestia in hand, which is a very common play, by the way, especially when you're running multiples of this card and you're also running triple Pot of Duality and recharges and whatnot, you could manipulate your hand so that you can pretty much get this play off at least once per match. So, out of the 3 duels, if not more. I mean, it's happened more than once in a game anyways. Like, it's a play that you see very frequently. The T-Rollers, Ryko, and Celestia. And what I like about this is that, besides the fact that, okay, yes, it's a -1 play on your part, it's also -3 on your opponent, and you get 7 cards engraved. So net, you're +2ing, and you put 7 cards engraved. There's not many other combos that could actually do that for you consistently. So that's why I'm running these over Necro Gardeners. Not to mention is that there's going to be a lot of OTKs this format, so that Threatening Roar comes in really handy. They will overextend, think they could OTK you, you chain Threatening Roar, oh, okay. Or let's say they're about to, like, they're setting up for an OTK, and they MST it, and you're like, okay, Threatening Roar, and they're like, oh, and they, overextend, obviously, and then if you're smart enough, you sit on your important resources in hand, and then you just explode and OTK them on that point, which I've done many times myself. That said, probably the most fun thing about Threatening Roar is that it's chainable. And this format's going to be a lot about chainable traps. So cards like Compulsory, cards like Threatening Roar, or even stuff like Book of Moon. You're going to see a lot of MSDing your opponent's MSD. That being said, if your opponent's using MSD, it's usually because they're ready to OTK right now. So they MSD your Threatening Roar, boom, chainable. You just 1-for-1 them, and you pretty much end their turn. So I'm really actually pleased with all my tech choices. Now I'm gonna discuss one thing that I had done in the past, which, well, I say in the past, very recently. I was running only 2 MST and 2 Threatening Roar, and in those 2 places, I ran double Call of the Haunted, just to use the Sangan, because I figured, I'll get Tour Guide to put Sangan in grave and whatnot, and then I'll just, let's say the MST to Call the Haunted, I still get a Sangan search out of all that, which, at the end of the day, I didn't really think was beneficial. I wasn't sure that I really like running Call the Haunted just for that, and then I said, what, it also gets makes the Celestia plays more consistent and whatnot. But after testing, and obviously I added an effect veiler to the build, which brought the build from 40 cards to 41 cards. But then I noticed that my Pot of Duality searches were a bit less consistent, and my hands looked a lot more clogged, especially with the 2 Call of the Haunteds, and they were dead early game, whereas Threatening Roar and MSD were much more live early game. So I came back to this, and although, with the kind of nerf on the Sangan, well, not necessarily Sangan, but on the XYZ material ruling, Tour Guide isn't as broken, but it's an amazing card, and even though I don't get the Sangan search, and even though I'm not running Call the Haunted anymore to get the Sangan search, I still feel that it's worth playing. It fills my grave up with at least 1 dark, making Blackluster Soldier very much live. I got a 2500 beater, which becomes a 3000 beater the turn after, and could be an out to some big monsters your opponent has, and can also be a big out to dead hands with let's say you'll Tour Guide, keep the Sangan on the field, okay, they'll attack the Tour Guide, but then you still have the Sangan available, and that play becomes even more busted when you have a Tragoedia in hand. So whatever, they'll attack Tour Guide, you drop Tragoedia, you have a Sangan on field, you copy level 4 next turn, and let's say you have a Plague in hand or a Plague in grave, special summon, make Trishula, you get a Sangan search. The plays are infinite, really, when you think about it, and I find this version to be much more consistent, despite me not running Call the Haunted to kind of bust the whole Sangan play. So that's the main deck. We're at the 9-point mark. Oh, one last thing, I guess. The reason why I want to go back to this over here, the reason why I say it's a 1-card OTK, I mean, obviously the Judgment Dragon one's obvious, summon 1, blow up the field. Now you could say summon the other 2 when whatever you attack. But let's say they have Gores or something, I'd always at least try and keep one in hand for the turn after. You don't have to OTK. Anyways, the other OTK, you need only one Beckoning and 2 cards in hand. Any 2 cards. Get these guys back from grave, special summon him. Use his ability to attack twice in a row. So you attack once and you drop Honest. Assuming there's only one monster on the field, right? So you attack once, drop Honest, so they'll take, let's say, your opponent had 2,000 attack, right? So you attack, drop Honest, they take 3,000, and he goes to 5,000, and then you attack against the second time in a row, and that'll be 5,000 damage because he still retains the effect boost from Honest. Side deck, 2 Effect Veiler, which was going to be like second best card of the format before the new ruling on XYZ materials. 2 DD Crow. Yeah, Effect Veiler goes in pretty much anything, to be honest. I should probably be main decking them, just don't really have the room, and he's not always useful, but he always goes in against whatever agents and stuff like that. 2 DD Crow goes in against the mirror match. I also side him in versus agents. Kaiku, very overlooked card in the past. But this guy attacks, removes 2, very good versus agents or the mirror match, and my opponent cannot remove cards from my graveyard from play. And we all know how important the grave is for me. Thunder King, with Gravekeepers and X-Sabers, still going to be a fairly decent deck this format. And with all the searching that's going to go on with Pot of Duality and all the special summoning, really great card. Double Cyber Dragon, just because Machina, Karakuri, gadgets, especially offering gadgets, are still going to probably be around. So we obviously got to run 2 of these, especially against Machina. I always have a bad matchup against them. 2 Trap Stun, just because Starlight Road is probably going to be running around. So if they Starlight Road, you run this. The reason why I'm running this over Royal Decree is if Royal Decree gets MST'd mid-chain, his effect won't work. At least Trap Stun's more chainable, more versatile, and obviously Crush Shoot. Again, I should probably be maining the Crush Shoot combo. It's just I don't really have the room for it. And extra deck. Got a Utopia, Roach, Leviathan, Leviair, Decisive Armor. Yeah, it's third effect, right up on that. Let's say you got Wulf, Garoth, or Wulf, or Celestia, and I don't know, let's say I don't know, say Lumina, and you got Plague in hand or Plague in Grey, whatever. Anyways, there's about an infinite number of combos you could do, and you pull off his third effect. That pretty much wins you the game. Trishula, Scrap Dragon, Stardust, Black Rose, Brionic, Tempest, Cataster, Librarian, Army Arm, Chimera Deck. Alright guys, so this was the build. Tell me what you think. PM me. We'll be putting up more vids. We'll have Johnny, who's gonna be putting up his XYZ sabers, and I'll probably be putting up my own offering gadgets soon. What else we got coming up? Oh yeah, we got regionals coming up at the end of the month, so I'll probably post a vid up of that. Well, a vid, many videos. I'll probably be running this build. If any other changes come up, I'll post a deck list of that too. Well, a deck video of that. Alright guys, so this is my Lightsworn from the Underworld version of Twilight. Alright guys, so take it easy, and hope you enjoyed watching this video. Peace out.